guys, I'm Kimberly. Welcome back to my channel. It's Only Homeschooling. If you've never been here before, I'm a licensed professional counselor turned homeschool mom of one, and I'm an advocate for developmental coordination disorder and homeschooling your only child. About a year ago, we switched to a different curriculum. We switched from Saxon grade 3 math to BJU math 3, and we did a comparison between the two curriculums. I promised I would check back with you at the end of the year to let you know how our changes went. So let's take a look at what we liked, what was okay, and some things maybe we didn't like. If you click up here, there should be a card linking you to videos we did in the past that discussed why we chose to do a switch and why we did our third grade reboot. And a second card that can let you know the two curriculums we were comparing. At the time, Saxon Math 3 and BJU Math 3. Today's video is our end of year review. We're going to follow up with many of the points that we made in our flip through original video comparing the two curriculums to let you know how our year went. What were some things that we liked? What were some things that were not so great? And what were some things that were okay? Okay guys, so we're going to switch the camera just a little bit to make it easier so that we can share the screen with our student, IOH Kid. Say hi, IOH Kid. Hi. He's going to give us his impressions and his review of BJU Math 3. Okay, so first of all, I'll talk about the scripts. Scripts are something we like in our house. It's discussed in the card in the video we talked about earlier, that it is a little bit of hand-holding, but it is kind of nice to have the questions there. The scripts were not a problem. I looked through them. If there was more information than I thought I needed to give, I just simply didn't use it. But it was very helpful in times when I felt I needed it. But one thing beginning, first of all, that we really loved about BJU, it tells us a story.
And it has a character.
So who are the characters we have in BJU 3?
Yeah, there's two main characters. There is a girl named Haley and a squirrel, which is Haley's pal, named Horatio.
Yes. And we go on a journey through all of the national parks with Haley and Horatio, and we use math
as a tool.
As a tool, yes, we do. And it kind of keeps us engaged to it. Did you like looking forward to what weekly adventures Haley and Horatio were going to have?
Yep, it was fun. Very fun.
And anytime you can make learning fun, we recommend it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next let's talk about how the program's set up. In Saxon, one thing that we talked about in the review, got my personal Vanna White here.
I like those hands.
That's okay. I like those hands too. The lessons were not, the way they were organized was you would seemingly skip around from one topic to the next. Like one day you might have reading a graph. The next day you might focus on identifying the length and width of a rectangle. And then the next day, it could be identifying even and odd numbers.
So it just goes straight to the next thing is what we're trying to say.
Okay, so it really sort of skipped around?
Yeah, I wish I could have more time to work on the topic.
Okay, now BJU, topics are organized according to chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So what does chapter 1 say?
Chapter 1 says addition and subtraction facts.
So you knew that particular week you were not going to skip around from telling time to reading a bar graph to doing something else. You were going to be working on what?
Addition and subtraction facts.
Yes, and you were going to be doing reviews if you needed them until you had the concept to mastery, and then you would end in a review, and then you would take your test. So it felt like you had some completion before you moved on to the next subject.
Yes, it took longer, but I was enjoying it because I thought I could learn more about the topic.
Okay. And you felt like you had a better understanding and grasp?
Unlike Saxon math over there.
Okay, let's don't pick on poor Saxon. Okay, we just found that this works for us. BJU has what we call a developmental approach, whereas Saxon has an incremental approach. In this case, BJU just seemed to be the winner for us. Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest differences that we found between BJU and Saxon, and that is the manipulatives kit. Okay, while for the most part, the kit, I wasn't sure if it was going to be sturdy enough to last through the whole year. It did. It did just fine. It's actually some pretty sturdy. It apparently did. Some of my favorite parts of the manipulatives kit, definitely these charts.
Decimal place value and place value pocket chart.
Yes, we use these quite a bit, and they were very, very helpful. So it is worth the extra time to set them up with the brads to use them. So I would say those were some of the best components out of the manipulatives kit thus far. Our least favorite, and the rest of it are fine. They're just not as fun because they're flat. When it comes to counting, I will say you love these, right, from Saxon.
I play with them all the time.
He does. But again, you can use Legos for these. You don't have to buy these. They're just fun because they're 3D, and they're definitely more fun to play with than these flat cardboard pieces. And because we're used to that. Now, the big thing that we absolutely did not care for out of the manipulatives
is
kit
because the clock has both the hands are the same length. How are you supposed to tell which is the minute and which is the hour?
I agree. That is definitely something that we were not impressed with.
I mean, this one looks shorter, and this one sort of is. I think they're supposed to look different, but they are the same length. So
what would we use?
BJU, the clock needs some work.
I have noticed we are using BJU again for this next year, and we'll do a video about that another time. They have made a change. They have made this a little bit better, where there is a distinction between the hour hand and the minute hand in the new manipulatives kit we just got.
Well, that's good.
It is good, yes. But so we typically would go back and use this because it is also fun. We would use this manipulative from Saxon whenever we were practicing our time telling skills.
Because this one didn't make any sense.
Okay, so on to review materials. This is something that Saxon 3 did not have, sort of a little added extra we had with BJU 3. It's additional work text pages of problems corresponding to the chapters in the workbook. It's additional review materials in case you need some extra practice for mastery. And it also comes with an answer key, separate answer key, quite bulky actually. To be honest, we never really used these. We felt that in our case, there was enough information in the everyday work, in the student work text, that we simply used those problems, and we found the mastery of concepts fairly easily. So we probably only used 1 or 2 pages out of this entire book. So I could almost recommend you don't necessarily need to purchase it right away. What do you think?
Yeah, we didn't really need it.
Didn't really need it?
Yep. Sorry, BJU.
Okay, so as far as modification for problems, whereas with Saxon, we would often have to cut the number of problems down, like sometimes even in half, because there were simply too many on the page for visual tracking issues. We didn't have to do that with BJU. That was awesome. In fact, we did very few modifications at all. The spacing of where problems were on the page was very helpful, and it just seemed to flow a little bit more organically. Now, as we went further into the deeper chapters of the workbook and of the year's work, there would become larger number of problems with larger numbers. So the way we modified or accommodated for that to help with kind of lining up problems is just good old-fashioned graph paper. Write the problems on here, helped a lot. We also found in the early stages we used a wonderful product, which I'm going to review again in the future, known as Channie's. Channie's is color-coded a little bit better than the graph paper, so you can really see how the numbers and the problems line up so that the student gets the answer correct by lining up, getting their numbers in the right row so that they can do their proper addition, subtraction, multiplication. This works just as great as well. So not a whole lot of modifications needed, but it lends itself well to it if you need to. Okay, so overall, do we recommend BJU Math 3?
Yes.
Yes, we do. We recommend it so much that we are actually going to stick with BJU for our 4th grade year.
Yay!
So we hope this review and this end of year kind of wrap up helped you form an opinion about what math program you think might be helpful for you. If you like this video, please don't forget to click the like button and remember to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you will know when new videos arrive. Thank you so much for watching and bye!
Bye! We hope you enjoyed this video.
Okay, so on to the review materials. This is something that... Sorry, I'm laughing. Okay.